Hello, class. Here to do our week five a debrief about video response about the soccer movie that we got to watch this week. Um, Thought it was a really interesting movie. Um, Interesting story about the couple um, just going being able to go around the world and talk with other people who share the same interest as them when it comes to soccer. I mean, I'm not a big soccer fan, but I can relate when it comes to football, basketball, or baseball, talking to another uh, sports fan who shares the same interest in sports as I do. So I think that's awesome. And then you throw in the cultural differences and language barriers and all that, just made for really interesting, especially to watch someone else from a different culture play the same way that you play, but maybe different rules or whatever. So um, One of the specific scenes that I thought was really interesting, kind of two, which was the scene where they were in Israel, in Jerusalem, and the scene when they were in Iran. The Israel one was really interesting in the fact that three major religious groups in one city, but one thing that they all share is their love for soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, for soccer. And there's this that interest. It was a really interesting dynamic between the uh, the Jewish people and the Arab people when they would play together. There was something that they all loved, something they enjoyed playing, but they also didn't weren't fully trusting of each other. Um, Although this sport brought them together, and it also brought out a lot of competitiveness. Not necessarily good competitiveness, but um, a lot of battles between each other. And I thought that was really, really interesting. A really interesting dynamic. I've grown up being very competitive and playing other schools who may have been rivals, and you don't really like that school, and blah 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 blah. But never to the I think to the aspect of a whole culture not liking another culture. Especially when they had that soccer game, it was right after a big terrorist attack. So it really brought a lot of things into perspective and showed from a different point of view sports and culture and how that coexists together. And then in Iran, um, man, that's just crazy that someone could be arrested for playing a sport. Like here, I think we don't fully understand that, how someone could be arrested for playing a sport. For a woman playing a sport and she gets arrested for that. That's crazy. That's absolutely intense. And I found it really interesting. But it was cool how they talked to some of the people and they were like, look, we both have different political views. We both have maybe different religious views. But at the end of the day, we're all humans and people who love soccer. And that's what's most important. So I thought that was really cool. And something I would do differently, I don't know if there was a whole lot that I would do differently than what they did. I think to really just get some people's true reactions is you just got to kind of dive into it and just catch them as they are. But maybe if it was me, I might have tried to do a little more research before I entered in a country. I don't know how much research, to be honest. I don't know how much research they did prior, but I maybe done a little more research. Try to befriend a few people from that country who understand the culture a little more and could guide me through it a little bit more. And then maybe even grab a few people from different cultures and bring them back to America and show them how what our soccer culture is, because obviously our soccer culture is nowhere near the same culture from other cultures around the country. Um, Soccer is the number one game in the world, popularity wise, but it's definitely not the number one in America. Um, so just to kind of show that, hey, look, there's a soccer game going on in a restaurant and not everybody is watching. I think that would have been interesting to them because probably in most countries, if a soccer game was on at a restaurant, everybody's watching the TV. So I think that dynamic would have been cool to see too. From the opposite view, but I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was really cool, really interesting concepts, and I really enjoyed it. So hope you guys have a good one. Bye bye.